A small round here. Yeah, my name is Klaus de Vries. Some of you know I know for a long time.
Yeah, for a very long time.
A whole lot, more or less. So, today we will do a JavaScript and PASOE workshop. And first I'll make a small introduction to the specific app server. And then after that, Robert will tell a bit more about JavaScript and the possibility how to connect to the PASOE app server and so on. Okay. Before I start, so for some words about IoT. So as also we are working with IoT is founded more or less 30 years ago in Hamburg. We started with OpenEdge, formerly known as PCas, this version 6. And we are a typical service provider, so we have not our own product. Or maybe O1 is the product, but we are selling services. Yeah, and this we are doing. Our core target countries are Germany and the German-speaking regions, and we have also some customers here in Finland and in Scandinavia, and also a lot of the Netherlands meanwhile. Our headquarters is in Hamburg, but meanwhile we have also a lot of employees in Austria and other countries, other cities in Germany. And we do also not only OpenEdge anymore, we make around 70% with OpenEdge and 30% with other technologies meanwhile, like JavaScript, C# and so on. Okay, but we are also with C#, we do typical tailor-made software, like with OpenEdge. And we are also well known for our tools. Yeah, some of you using PCas or O1. And I will tell a bit more later about O1, some words. And then we are also working with Focus very strong together since several years. So they are also selling O1 for us. We do a lot of modernization projects together. And since several years, then we are also certified service partner from ProAlpha. Do you know ProAlpha? ProAlpha is the biggest, the most important progress partner in Europe. They have 2,000 very big customers, and they have around 2,000 employees and a lot of progress developers. And they are not so big as SAP, but they are in the second league, yeah, in the first one. Okay. That is some of our customers. Think, yeah, ProAlpha, Hapag-Lloyd, you know, think you know it. Proventus is a small customer in Norway. Renos and Hagebau are very well-known companies in Germany. Renos is also working in Europe quite now. And the other ones, Vexware maybe, is also very well known in Germany, but I see not here. Okay, the PASOE. First question, who's working with that server from you? Nobody? Except in Martin.
Tapani.
Yeah. But the other ones have no idea what an app server is or You know the classic app server? But you never work with the app server.
Sometimes.
Sorry?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay. Yeah, the purpose, the old application server is introduced, I think the first one was version 8, long time ago, at the end of the 90s. And it's getting more important in the last 10 or 20 years. So I know a lot of people using the app server only for backend. Typical, they're using the app server more or less as a job server. And okay, but the Progress has introduced the Pacific app server with version 11.5, I think. And structure was completely different to the normal one. And the new Pacific app server based on Tomcat. Do you know Tomcat? Yeah. So Tomcat is also a very old tool. It's an application server, mostly used for the Java developers. It's a typical application server. Yes, Tomcat is for the Java developers the same like the classic app server for the OMS programmers. Yeah. And okay. Maybe I can move to the next. Oh, okay. So what is different to the classic app server? The classic app server is more or less a typical, typical progress task which runs in a batch mode. Yeah. So for managing Progress has introduced a broker who handles all requests. Yeah. And with the PASOE, what is completely different is that we have a multi-session agent. That means that we have one process, yeah, and all ABL sessions runs as a thread in this process. That is a big difference for the programmer's perspective to the classic app server. Yeah. So, and then you see here the session manager is like the broker in the classic app server, and here you have one agent, or you can also start with more agents, but inside the agent you have ABL session with one as a thread. Yeah. And then we have also adapters here. The most important ones are the APSB, that is a classic app server adapter for OMS clients, and the web handler for REST calls. Yeah. The other ones, not for, we are not using it here, so because the last WebSpeed project is a long time ago, and with SOAP, we also not working with SOAP anymore, maybe. Okay. So if somebody question? No one. Okay, that is like catch from Progress here. What was the reason to create a new app server, because the classic app server works fine, yeah? So it was stable, and we have a lot of adapters, and my progress decided to integrate it, or to integrate it in the Tomcat environment to have better security. You can have better administration and so on. Yeah, and also a multi-thread process or a multi-thread agent have a better performance because you can share memory and CPU power. Yeah, and the connection to the process is much more faster as a classic app server. Yeah. But if you talk about the performance, then we talk not the performance inside the OpenEdge processes is the same speed, yeah, because it's a typical OpenEdge program. It's not faster. But the switching between the how to handle the cores, that is much more faster, yeah? To set up the processes or the threads and so on. That is much more faster as a classic app server. And that is for a normal OpenEdge application not so important, because if you have a screen and you're working with the app server, you make one call. If you start the screen, you fetch the data, and maybe after a while you save it again. Yeah. That doesn't matter if you work with a Pacific app server or with a classic app server. But if you have more an app or a REST-oriented application, yeah, then you have more microcalls. Yeah, you get some information, you send back information, you query something, you execute something, and so on. And then it's much more important that you can handle this request much more faster as with the classic app server. I think that was one of the ideas from Progress, that they move to the Tomcat app server or the Pacific app server. So what they have also done, that they have introduced the web handler. That is the most, for me as a programmer, that is one of the most important things here. Yeah. Yeah, that is also, I mentioned it, that application, if you write if you have an application, normally you have a database and you have the backend logic and the client logic, that's it. But for a modern architecture, a typical business application should be open. Yeah, that you can query data, you can send data, and so on. And that means that you need a kind of a REST library for your application. And this REST library, then you can have micro calls, yeah, for an app or for importing data, to exchange data with other things. So on the left side, you see properties or behavior of the classic app server. On the right side, the Pacific app server. And as you see in the first line, so each both running typical APL code. Yeah. And if you move from the classic app server the specific app server, normally you have not to change your source code, normally, yeah? So this runs as, runs like a classic app server. Okay, and the classic app server has an interface for the GUI clients directly. Yeah, then that means that you can, from the 4GL level, you can create an app server handle or an app server object. You can connect it, and that's it. Yeah? You can do it via HTTP, or you have an OpenEdge protocol. So then Progress introduced also some adapters. You know, we have an EE adapter or REST adapter or an adapter for the web services, and that's based on different technologies. And yeah, but it's working. It was not really easy to introduce a REST adapter with the old classic app server, yeah, but it's working. Yeah. What was introduced here on the right side in the specific app server. Then you have 4 adapters now. You have for the OpenEdge client, the APS3 adapter. Yeah. Then you have for the compatibility mode, you have a REST and SOAP adapter still. And then we have the web adapter. That is really the coolest adapter now. Yeah. And you have a web handler, REST handler, and you can also generate ADL programs with some Eclipse environment. Yeah. Yeah. As mentioned, we have less resources and higher performance, but the resources means that we can switch very easy between the threads, yeah, and the higher performance, and you have higher performance if you call the backend via REST or via the OpenEdge client. Okay, that is the other table here. So the nice thing is that you can the PASOE is itself is a web server, yeah, because Tomcat is not only an application server. You can use Tomcat also as a small web server. Yeah. Okay, that is not possible with the classic app server. So the security, there's no in the classic app server, so you are completely responsible for the security. And the PASOE, we have the Spring security from Tomcat, but you can also build your own stuff after that. Yeah, but Tomcat will handle for each core. Tomcat can also handle that. So yeah, then on the PASOE have this 4 handler here, and the classic app server has the built-in handler only for the GUI. And the PASOE have as mentioned, the APS3 or for the Progress client, the REST adapter, SOAP, and web handler. But this as mentioned, REST and SOAP is the old interface. So with the classic app server, so if you want to connect the app with the classic app server, if you want to have make a REST call to the app server, you need a special REST manager, or you need also a manager for web service, and also the ADA. It's you need it for the HTTP calls. Also a big difference is the admin service. The admin server. You know the admin server, yeah? That is a typical server who handles the databases, and app server, and also other things or progress. And it is not needed by the PASOE anymore. Yeah? If you use the management console, then you need the admin server. But you can start the PASOE also in a batch, or you can start the PASOE as an own service, and then you don't need the admin service anymore. Yeah? Yeah. The classic app server, you can, if you want to have more power, then you can increase the agents which runs on the app server. And in the PASOE, you can increase the session per agent, and also the agent itself you can also start more as one. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, production best practice. But normally, if you have an app server, then if you deploy your application, normally the app server and the database engine are on the same engine, and they are using shared memory for communication. That is what is the best practices. That is what you can do is with a PASOE. I never did it, but you can deploy as a PASOE like a typical app server. Also on the server where your database is running, and you also use shared memory. But you can put it also in a Docker container, for example, and you can deploy it via Docker. I think it's not possible with a normal app server. Do you know Docker? Do you use it? With progress or?
Not with progress.
Not with progress, yeah. But I know that it's possible that you can create a container that contains the specific app server, and you can deploy it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and yeah, then we have to know that the classic app server is not available anymore with version 12. Yeah, that is yeah. On one hand, not nice because we have to change something. Yeah, so we have to learn the PASOE, and then you have to check it if everything is fine. I said normally you have to do nothing if you move from the classic app server to the PASOE.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people have problems if they move to the Pacific app server, because yeah, the main problems are Yeah, if you create a buffer, a temp table, yeah, and you forget to delete it after you use it. Yeah, so and the problem with the you have this same problem also with the classic app server, but that you have only the memory leak on one process. Yeah, so it takes more time that you reach the limit. In the Pacific app server, then the memory leaks collect to the one session. Yeah, so that means if you have 10 sessions, yeah, or threads, yeah, then you and they are also active, then you will reach the limit 10 times faster, yeah, because we collected to one process. And we had in the last year we had a big project where we have to find all memory leaks in the whole application, because they never take care about it, that they delete a buffer, or if you work with temp tables, with dynamic temp tables, and you move one temp table from one procedure to another procedure, and or one class to another class, and you can move the temp table by reference, for example, or you can copy it, yeah, and they never know it. But it's better is to use by reference, for example, because then you move only the handle from one procedure to another one. And if you move the temp table directly, then you copy completely the whole set of the temp table, including the data. Yeah. And, the effect was you start the application, and after some hours, then the app server don't work anymore, because the memory consumption was so high that there was no memory anymore. Yeah? Okay, and then our task was to search after this leak and to replace it.
May I ask, do you have some good tools for finding memory leaks?
We have, yes, it's a good tool, I don't know. We have written a tool for that, yeah. And one tool is, the problem is, if you have some such problems, yeah, you see, okay, there's a consumption there, but you have no idea where, yeah. That's the biggest problem, yeah. What we did, that we put it in the connection, in disconnect and the connect procedure. We have written a program with, it goes through the memory. There are two ways to scan the memory and looking for buffers and temp tables. So, the first way is you can the progress session has a handle first temp table, first buffer, first whatever.
Procedure.
First procedure, for example, yeah. So then you can it's a list, yeah. And then you can walk through the list. You can walk through the list, and then you. And the result of this list, you dump it into the file. And after you delete the app server, you do the same, and then you compare it. Yeah? And then you compare the handles, and then you know, okay, if you have more as before, then you have a problem. Yeah? That is an easy task. Other ways is also you can create a loop, for example, from 1 to maybe 100,000.
Yeah, so you loop the handles.
Yeah, and then the best way is you start at 1,000, because between 0 and 1,000 there are more progress internal handles. Yeah, and then you try to, this is integer, and you try to convert it to a digit handle, and then you look what is it a temp table or buffer or whatever. Yeah? And you will find a lot of things. And also, that's very important that you compare what you have before and what we have after that. Yeah. So that is the way what we did.
Yeah. So you mean that you had to write your own programs? Progress didn't provide any tools for that. Progress.
Question or?
Yeah, question. That
I don't know. If they do, meanwhile, at that time they didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So we worked also with Polish together, with Roland Piper, for example. I'm sure he told me that if they had something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It is also not a big program. It's a relatively small one. Yeah?
Yes.
But it's very effective. You know it.
Yeah, I know.
You
Yeah.
did the same.
I have seen the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it takes a really long time. We worked 1 month on it. Yeah. And also, as we detected that the programmers did not use the reference parameter, yeah, okay, it was easy to detect, but it takes a long time to change everything in the application in the back end. Yeah. We worked with several people on it for several months. Yeah. So, and because the original programmers have no knowledge about it, and they have no idea what happened inside of OpenEdge if you use if you copy a timetable from one procedure to another one. Yeah. Okay. This is another graphic here. You see, you have your client, normally the OpenEdge client. Then you have the admin server who controls everything. Then you have a name server, and here you have the app server broker, and then you have your several agents here. Yeah. So, and here, yeah. Then you have your client, any client here. And then you have the progress, so the specific app server with several adapters, and the session manager. The session manager is the same like the app server broker here. And then you have the multi-session agent, which holds more API sessions. I'm not sure, but I hope that in the next or our next release, maybe that you can also share timetables between the threads, yeah? Or that would be very cool. Okay. Yeah. Other graph, you see. You have the adapter here, and the broker, and here on the right side, then you have again the adapters. Then you have session manager and so on. Yeah. Okay. Then what is also different to the classic app server that we have a development mode and the production mode for the specific app server. Yeah. Normally, if you during development you should work, you should start your specific app server in the development mode. Yeah. Because you have not to. You have no problems with security and so on, yeah? So that is not switched on, then you also you can reach the administration. All transport layers are enabled, you can connect it directly. So in the production mode, you have everything you have to switch on. Yeah? By default, everything is disabled. And then you can open it part by part, what is needed. Yeah? So, but it's more important for later if you switch to the Pacific app server. But first, you should start the Pacific server in the development mode. Yeah, again, the rest. I remember, so I created my first REST adapter for the app server with, I'm not sure, I think it was 11.2 or 11.3. Yeah, and compared to the web handler now, it was really a nightmare. Yeah, it was really complicated. You have to read a lot of stuff to how to configure it and to test it and so on. I need several days before I can start this REST adapter, and it was very complicated to create. I have to create a REST adapter for each call. It takes really time to do that. Yeah, and that was the reason that we created this OAuth1, that we decided to create a generic REST adapter which can handle all REST calls we needed in our application. Yeah. So, but this REST and SOAP adapter are still available. Yeah, and the APSV is the classic adapter for the Open Edge client and the Open client. You can use it. We have only changed the connection parameters for the app server. That's it, and then it runs again. Runs. And yeah, what's new is the web adapter. And the web adapter contains also the REST adapter, and also for the new SOAP web services. Yeah, and it's really flexible. It's extremely easy to handle and to configure and to understand what you have to do as Open Edge programmers. Yeah, so I have to be honest, so because I never work with a specific app server. Or I work with a specific app server, but only I use it. Yeah. So for this workshop, I learned much more, and also learn how to work with the web adapter, and it's really easy to understand. Yeah? I was really surprised at how easy it is to work with.
There's a couple of notes from the classic the app server for OpenEdge clients. It uses only HTTP protocol only. Earlier it was TCP possible also. So now it's only HTTP.
Yeah.
And then if somebody is using web speed, it's using this web protocol.
That's why. Yeah. It contains also web speed.
Yes.
I don't know how many people work with web speed. So, you? You also? Yeah.
Happy to.
So, and okay. And no, later. Here's a picture that you, yeah, so maybe you can see. I will also start later with the management console, and then you can see. Then we have here the 4 boxes for for each adapter here. Here you can see the URL which you have to run. Yeah, you can choose between HTTP and HTTPS. Yeah, later, and I will show it. Okay, so this picture here. So if you want to create your instance, then you have to make a copy of a template. Yeah. So that means in the server's PASOE and DLC, that is a Tomcat installation. Yeah. This contains everything. Contains all executables and scripts and configuration data. Yeah, which is needed. But if you want to set up your own, PASOE app server, then you have to make a copy of the template. Yeah, and the template, yeah, you can put it in the working directory like you want. Yeah, yeah. The only thing is that you should put it not in the DLC directory, or otherwise you can choose any directory on your computer. Often we put it also in our development environment. Yeah. So and for this copy, there's a tool. It's called TCMan. Yeah. And TCMan is a tool like ASP.man or DBman, whatever. Yeah? That is so. And the first step is that you say, okay, create a copy, and then copy all files, configuration files, the scripts, then some WAR files, and also the OpenEdge part. So that means that you have a copy of the Tomcat, but without the executables, yeah? Only the configuration files and the log.
Hey. Klaus, is it possible that you show with your computer these commands and what they create?
Yeah, I will show later.
Okay, very good.
So, how the command looks like, yeah? That is important, yeah? Okay, that's what I can show you. So, okay. And do you know what the WAR files are? No idea. The WAR files are the deployment package. It's more or less a zip file. Yeah. Yeah, you can look, if you have a zip viewer, then you can look inside the WAR file. And you put the WAR file if you have a Java application, and also if you create a Skin client deployment package. Yeah. The nice thing is you put the WAR files in the root directory, not in the root, in the configuration, in the web abstract directory of the Tomcat, and Tomcat automatically copy it and create a new directory and extract it. Yeah? So even if Tomcat is running and you copy a new WAR file, then the WAR file is automatically updated. Yeah? Okay. So and with TCMan you can create an environment, and also with TCMan you can start your PASOE. Yeah. You can also start. You can also use the web interface for that. Yeah. Like you want both. You have both possibilities.
So you mean OpenNet's Explorer?
The Explorer, yeah.
Yes.
So, on the first slide, everything is a bit confusing because there's a lot of locations and you have to know where are my log files, where are my configuration files, and so on. Yeah. But I have here, this is an extract of the most important files. You have to know where they are and what the meaning is. Yeah. So if you talk about Catalina Home, then Catalina Home is the template root. It's, the location is always in DLC server's PASOE. Yeah. And this contains everything, including all executables. Yeah. So in Catalina base, that is your instance. Yeah. And this contains your web application and all settings and scripts and so on. Yeah. So and in our case, we put what I want to show is in DLC work and then in OE plus one. Yeah. So then, so if you want to know what happens is your if you start your app server, then the most important thing is what happens with your agent. Is your agent starting, running? Is there some errors there or whatever? We have to look in this log file here. Yeah? Catalina base and the instance and then logs, and then there's an agent log file, and then back here. So then also important is in the same directory there's a startup errors. Then then if you want to start up your app server and the app server can't start it, then often in this file you've found some hints why because there's a reason that the app server couldn't start. Yeah. So then we have another one, it's also in Catalina base, that's called the OpenEdge.properties. Yeah. That is the former broker properties file. Yeah. Here in this file, there's an app server configuration. You find it there. So then in Catalina properties, you will find all settings for the PASOE Tomcat instance. Yeah? So if you create a Tomcat instance, you need several ports. For example, the shutdown port, or first shut up, and start up port, shutdown port, and also a connection port. Yeah. So if you have several instances, then each Tomcat needs her own port range for that. Yeah? And that is what you have to set in the Catalina properties. Normally, the setting of this, you have not to set it by hand. Yeah? You can control it here. If you, I will show you the command for that. If you create an instance with TCMan, then you can also you can say this is the startup port, this is the shutdown port, and also my connection port. So, but if you want to control it, you have to look here in the Catalina properties. Okay. And then for Tomcat itself, Tomcat has uses the server XML file, and also here. But in this file, normally you will not find the setting itself, so you will not find the value. It's more variables. Yeah? I will show you, give you some examples. Yeah. So then, I think this is the last one here. It is also very important that you there is one file in Catalina home. Also, there is a file called instances.windows when you work with Windows. And here is a list of all known Catalina or of all PASOE instances for this progress version. Yeah? So in this case, you see with 12.2, we have are using here three Pacific App Servers instances here. Yeah? So that is important to know. So if you delete an instance, maybe by hand, yeah, you can delete the directory, the Tomcat directory, it's not a problem. But you have also delete the entry here. Yeah, that is very important. Yeah, and the other view to this instance is here with the management console. You will find the same entries here in the management console. If you delete an entry here, then you will also see only 2 ones here. So, yeah, the TC-man is a, like ESP-man or DB-man is a command line utility, and you can do a lot of things. Yeah, and the most frequent commands are listed here, what you can do. That means you can, with TC-man, you can create a new server instance, you can delete it again, or you start and stop it. Yeah, that is most used. You have a question?
Time out.
Time out?
Yes.
Break?
Coffee break.
Coffee break.
Okay. Why not? This is Eclipse. Or this is the developer studio. What you have to do is you say new web handler. And here I put here in the playground, and the name is here FinPUG. Yeah. And then is the web handler. That is this class based on. And then you can say, okay, I want to handle get, post, and delete. Yeah? That's the most important method in the REST interface. The REST interface or knows, so far I know much more, but this 4.1 are the important ones. I think it's a bit difficult to read, but when you get an empty class, and then you have here some methods to handle errors, and then you have a handle get, put, post, and delete. And what I have prepared for today is to handle the get request. And get request means that the REST interface asks for data. Yeah? Data can be text, can be in JSON file. Data can also be a binary like a PDF. Yeah? Okay, that is. You want to know? Oh, getting older here. So. So I have to look if my database is running or my database is running here. Then I start my designer.
Tuossa se istui vähäkästi, on ilmeisesti kadonnut. Tai niin toinen koskaan.
Niin kierrästä varmaan.
Niin,
Sitten katkesta.
So.
Tänne peniskooppi näin.
So now we're starting the management console here. And here you see that the specific access is running. So I look here. And here I can stop and start the Pacific access. So, what I can do, I can delete the file here and try to create it again. So, now I say you. So get here my package, the playground, and I call it here FinPUG. Inherits on the web handler here, and say I want to have a put, post, and delete. I want to handle it here. So and that's it here. Yeah, I get my file. I remove it here. So here, I will put numbers. And that's it. Okay. And it's easy to read. I can make better to read now, yeah? Okay. So, and yeah, how it works. So we have a handle get here, then we get an object. It's called a PO request, and it's a class, it's a IO request class. Yeah? So in this object, this contains each information you need to handle the request. Yeah? What you get, I will show it in another example. You can read out the whole body of the HTTP core, or you can query the parameters and so on. Yeah, this, you can do it on a very easy way. And after that, you create a response. Then you create a response object. Yeah. Then the response object gets a status code, for example. Okay. Then you create a body. The body can be a typical text, like here. Yeah. And then content type, you can set it to text plain, and also the length. And then you need a response writer. And the response writer, then you open it and you close it. And maybe you can do something in between. And that's it, yeah. And you have questions?
Sorry.
Okay, and yeah, then you close it and that's it, yeah. Okay. Normally, then and you see here, hello, Postman, yeah. That is,
I have a question. Was the mapping from the URL
the mapping.
according to
Yeah.
the file name or?
Yeah, I have prepared before. There's some important information. I have to go to the OMEsh properties. So here's the OMEsh properties file. I think I mentioned it. And the most important thing that you have for the web handler, then you can create some settings. And these settings here, for example, are used for O1. Yeah. And here I, as I prepared the workshop here, create already here the entry FinPUG. Yeah. And I map it to this, to playground, to this class here. That is what we have to do, not more. Yeah. That's pretty easy. Yeah. You can, so far I understand, you can create up to 100 or 99 handlers. Yeah. But normally you don't need so much, because you should create more generic handlers, like here. So, for example, here we have the entity here in the URL. Yeah, and then everything is done by the OMEsh code then. Yeah? Normally you have a handful or two handfuls handlers for your application, that's it. Yeah?
If you want to pass, let's say, the entity ID through the...
Yeah, this is the first example here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have prepared also to pass, let's see. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I might be lost here, a bit lost, but this looks like a standard out-of-the-box version 12 progress, or does this require the OF1?
No. That is, this is only for one here, you don't care about here. That is,
Okay.
yeah, that is important. This line is important for you here. Yeah. So that means that you can also parallel to an O1, for example, you can also create your own web handler for your application, which has nothing to do with an existing framework. So you are completely free. Yeah? That means if you, for example, if you use O1 and you are missing something, and you want to know, then you can create your own web handler for that, and then that's also possible. Yeah?
But you need PASOE to do it.
You need, for this, you need PASOE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That URL that you access for /web/FinPUG West, where did the web come to that?
Sorry? Yeah?
The URL had a web
Yeah.
path in it, but where did that come from?
I will show. This one here. This part here, yeah? Yeah, this comes from here. So if you go to the management console, so, yeah, and you go here to this one. Yeah. And you see here the web transport adapter. And here you see that is the URL. You have to use it here. Yeah.
And what would have happened if you switch the web to REST?
Then you are using the old REST adapter. Yeah. It's this a bit confusing. Yeah. You want to have a REST and you're using the web transport layer. Yeah. But the REST is the old one. Also this one. So this is a white one here. Yeah. Okay. Right now. It's only for old staff. Yeah, and this on this port, this is my local host URL, and this port is if you create your own PASOE instance, then you have to set which port you're going to use for the HTTP and HTTPS access. Yeah, that is what you can change it later. Yeah, but this is set if you create the instance. Okay. Any questions? So, okay. So, the next step is to pass the whole link. Yeah. And I have also did you hear something? So, okay, we can use this program here. That is also my first US is also I put it also here in the list. Yeah, this is my first US. Yeah, and then that is the URL. No, not the whole URL, the part of the URL or the path. What you have to put it in the URL. Yeah. You see what is also possible. You can use the same class with different URLs. Yeah. It's not always said, but it's possible. Yeah. So okay, what happens here? So the PO request has a handle or an object handle, the URI or I, yeah, and and here there's a method called get query names, yeah. And it's a bit strange. The get query names returns 2 parameters, yeah, and normally in a normal object-oriented language you get back an object. Yeah, it contains the amount of parameters in the query parent. Yeah, but here it's more the old-fashioned focus rate, and that means that we return once here the amount of parameters, and here the query parameters here. It's a character string. Yeah. Okay. So what I do here now, that is, I have a typical loop, and I walk to the parameters here, and here okay, to just the parameters, and then catch return, and then I create a list here, yeah, and then the query parameter 1, and then this is this is not a that is not a normal string, that is an extent here, yeah, and the extent is automatically set to the size of the entries, yeah. Okay, and then and in this loop I can I have here the parameter, the name of the parameter, an equal, and then get query value, and then the name of the parameter, and then I can query the value from the URL string. Okay. So, and here, if the parameter I is custom from, then I set this variable, and if this is custom to, I set it to this line. Yeah, that is really a simple example, and you can also do it more generic. Yeah, it's more a static example. I choose it static to show it it's more simple, yeah, because dynamic programming looks more complex. Yeah, so that means, and here I set the custom from to 0, and the custom to this value. I set it only to this one in the hope that you have no higher customer numbers. Yeah? In the real, if you create a real application, then that is not the best way. So, and here I send back what I have read out. So, and moment please. So, I have here two variants here. I comment out it here. So, okay, so I create a body here again, yeah. This code here in between doesn't matter. So then I create a response. Okay, I create first the response object, then I create a body object, and then and here I put the body object in the entity property, and I set the content type, that this means the text plain, and so on. Yeah. So I save it here. So, and we will see what happens when we call it again. That is, but it's not FinPUG. This is my res, yeah? Oh. That happens, it's not working. What is wrong? So, okay.
Does it say that the get is not allowed?
Method not allowed. Yes, can't be, must be allowed. Maybe there's an error. Then, we look at here. Let's see. So, what I can try, was muss ich? Das ist ein Doppelbus mit. Nee, jetzt, ich glaube nicht. Must be right. Oh, button. Das ist eigentlich okay. So, was soll das again? The nice thing is, if you haven't accepted the PASOE, creates always a new set of log files, and the old ones are stored in the directory. Yeah? That is so. Okay, let's start it. I'm sorry for that. I can't find it now. It's
Syntax of that. Syntax of that class is something,
yeah,
something simple.
that is all right. So I think is the typical problem is if you have not initialized. Maybe I have to put in something.
How about if you try the different URLs? Alternative.
Okay. Okay, but normally, what I want to show is how to parse the parameter, yeah, and that is relatively easy. You see, maybe to find the problem is not always.
Can you show the handlers? We said there's two handlers, number 5. Yeah, that caused the problem. In the properties,
Oh,
there's 2 with the handler 5.
yeah, maybe. No, yesterday it worked, but maybe that could be a problem, yeah? Okay. Then I stop it. Start it again. You checked it yesterday, yeah, in the evening. It's fine. Yesterday, it's fine.
Worst used sentence of a program yesterday.
But you checked it on whiskey bar, so.
That's
Everything with a reason, yeah.
ah,
Yes.
all right. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. So, and here you see the third line, then I could read out the complete URL, and then I also can paste each parameters on the top. Yeah, and then with the request object you can ask a lot of things. Yeah. Yeah.
Standard way of passing object ID would be pass it in the URL part, not in the query string. Is that possible? To have like a myrest /12, and that's it. Let's say, or customers /12.
Yes, but you have to program it.
Yeah, but since the properties seem to have kind of hard-coded URLs, but can you actually say that there's a variable in this part?
I understand. So what you can, so if you have 100 tables and you don't want to have for each table an entry, yeah?
No, I mean, that if let's say we have a customers table,
Yeah.
and I want to send a request, get customer number 12.
Yeah.
In a standard REST API, that would be customers 12.
/12.
/12,
Yeah.
not query parameter 12.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
It is possible.
Yeah. And here you can see here. You can also map URL and using variables. Yeah, that is also possible. Yeah, that is here you see also the entity and resource, and you can also that is also possible. But this is we are using another way for that. Yeah, but that is possible. Yeah? Okay.
excuse me, I think there is also possible to make mapping, which is with the URL and what variable is in progress. So
Yeah.
there is also possible to make this mapping in a text file.
Yeah. But this is for the starting point. I think that is a positive because it's a fast way. There's a lot of documentation you can find in the internet how to configure your URLs and how to read out and so on. Yeah. But the problem is if you start with a specific app server, the first you think it's very complex and very difficult to understand. You need a bit time to understand where you can find or where you have to set the properties to run the PASOE, and after a while then you can do more complex things like this one. Yeah. Okay. So, the next one is that the next step is to fill data. Yeah. So then I have created a temp table and I have created a customer table. Here in the comment, that is just an idea how you can handle business entities. Yeah, you are completely independent. You can work with O1 entities or you %, because O1 has already REST interface. But if you have your own entity structure, then you can also access it here. Yeah. So, but in this example, I have here a static loop for customers, where I have customer from and to, and then I copy it here. And after I have filled the temp table, I think you know that you can export a temp table to a JSON file. You know it. Yeah? Okay. So what we have to do now is that we convert it to JSON text and put it in the body. Yeah. So and then the content type we have to set it to JSON. And that's it. Yeah. And instead of this one, I send back the JSON file now. Yeah. So hopefully it's working now. Maybe we have to I didn't find out when I have to restart and then not. So the first time I could start directly, and now after I have changed it, the first time is clear. Then it was not in the cache. So start it again. And you see here a lot of data. And two. Yeah. And it's really fast. Yeah. Oh, that's not so much. Yeah. Even if you move the whole table, it takes only some milliseconds. If you have a direct access to the database. Yeah? So, and okay, questions? And there's also an example how to create a binary file. You want to send back a PDF file or other documents and so on. Yes. More or less the same. Yeah? Okay. No questions anymore, then I go further. So, other way is to use PCas. Yeah. Do you, some of you know PCas, yeah? For a long time. So, and PCas, it was developed as a product to design the database. And meanwhile, it is over 25 years on the market. 25 years. And that is very useful to maintain your database or to develop the database. And it's now integrated into one, not now, since over 10 years or 15 years. And with PCas you can also design and administrate over one business entities. Yeah? And the nice thing is, it's, especially if you work with a classic app server, that we have integrate or we have that we have built in generic REST interfaces. Yeah? So with O1, you have not to take care about the whole stuff here. Yeah? You can directly, if you have a PASOE, you can directly query the data, and also with the classic app server you have to do only with the classic app server you have to install an adapter for that, but once installed you have also access to all data in your database and all methods you create in the business entities. Yeah? That is there, you have to do nothing. So that is the PCas here, an example, the sports database, and and here you don't see the colors here. What you see here on the most left table, that is a business entity structure, and here this are more green, but you can see here. Yeah. And here in the logic, we have in our business entities, we have a special method where we can calculate the field. And what I'm doing here, I have here the number, and then here are the greater and greater signs and less signs. I put it around here. Just an example. So that is what I have to do. I wanted to show if I change something in the business entity, you have direct access via the REST interface. Okay. Then
You are probably running out of battery.
Yes, thanks. I need an external phonic person. Where to connect? Okay. Do you know Postman? Yeah? So with this Postman, you can also normal. What's possible if you make a normal GET request, you can do it also. So I can also copy the URL here, put it in the browse, and put it here, and I get the same result here. Yeah? So, but with the Postman, then it is better to read because the JSON file is formatted here. Yeah. Must do something. Okay. And here you see, I have created the FinPUG here, yeah? And that's the custom, this is one thing, just an example. So it shows you that I change only in the business entity field, and it's by default accessible via the REST interface. Yeah? So, okay. Do you have questions for that? No. You have or?
Well, you seem to answer the question. I had a question at the coffee break, but this
Yes.
answered the question.
Is this answered now? Okay. Okay. And with the Postman, you can do all. The Postman is a tool for testing your REST interface. Yeah? That is a very common tool. I think each developer I know use Postman to check or to check the REST interface. Yeah?
Can you make there that you put customer class 2 in that URL, customer class 2. In the classic version that I use, there I can use customer class 2. There so that I select customer on the URL.
Yeah, now you've got a list of customers.
Yeah.
If you want only one specific customer,
Yeah.
how do you do it?
I don't know.
That is
Yeah. Okay. Maybe just customer slash 2. Okay. Maybe. So?
Yes. This could be typical.
Yes.
Yeah.
The difference here, because I know this interface, it's exactly what I'm using later on in marketing. The difference is that if you just say customer, you get only a few fields. That's what I use for my grid. Because in the grid I don't need the comment or all the other fields. And if you go to the details / with a number, then you get the whole record.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not so familiar with the O1 interface because I'm working more. I don't work so much with the REST interface. You work much more as me. Yeah. So not really. Mobile is not especially this. Yeah. But that is not so important in this case. What if you have to introduce it or not? Yeah. The important is that how to work with the web handler. That is what I want to show. Yeah.
I have still a question.
Yeah.
So are we now talking about OF1 or standard progress version 12?
Here we're talking more or less about standard. This is the example of this O1 here. This is the last example here with the PCas, and this O1. I want to show it. There are many ways to do it. You can do it. What you can do, you can use the web handler. You could create your own generic part for that to fill the data and to receive the data, whatever. Yeah. Or you can use framework O1 when everything is more or less done, and you can directly start this work. That is what I want to say. Yeah. You can also use other. You can also choose the framework mic, for example. I don't know exactly so much about Mike's practice framework, but I think he has similar things.
So this is version 12 included, but yes's question in the coffee break was about OF1 having extra fields. I think it was.
That is that structure, that is specific on OF1.
Yeah.
Yes. So it wasn't answering this example. This is a standard progress 12, version 12.
This is
OF1.
This is
No.
O1.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, then
this case, yes.
understood.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is O1, yeah. And we have to find a structure. So maybe you are not satisfied with the structure, then you create your own one, yeah. So you can ask us to create it, or if you don't do it, then you say, okay, then I create my own structure. So it's possible, yeah. Yeah.
But you could make your own exactly the same with the same URL. You
Yes.
could make your own, and
Own
it's just
incident.
passing the parameters, and you can do whatever you want, and you can pass back whatever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So the functionality is the same. It's a different approach via
Yes, it's a different
F1
approach,
and then
yeah. So,
by current version 12.
but the base, I think the entry point, yeah, is always the same. Yeah? You have your web handler. The web handler receives the command, and you have to read out. You have to handle it. You have to program it, and you have to send back data. Yeah, and so this is what you can do by yourself, or you are using a backend framework like O1 or that from Mike, Wagner, or whatever. Yeah. And everything is already done. Depends on you. Yeah.
But it's in version 12, like this.
But
What was it in version 11.4 or whatever? When the support from progress wasn't the same level.
So for O1, it's the same. Yeah, the programming is the same. It's not really true. URL is different, and then we have REST instead of web. Yeah? If we are using REST, if we work with the PASOE, and if we work at the classic app server, then instead of web, then you see here REST. Yeah, but the structure is the same. Yeah, but more important is now for today how the PASOE is working and how the web handler is working. That is, it's was just an example of what I give you that. Yeah.
You have the PCas, you use the PCas to build the business entity.
Yes, right.
Are the business entities built or composed of many tables?
Yeah.
Can you update any field of the business entity via the
If you want,
and
yes.
it will update the specific tables?
Yes, you can do it, yeah. Normally, you have, we call it main table. That is, yeah. If you have a customer, then the customer is the main table. Then we have the build to ship to address, for example. You can define the ship to build to the ship or build to fields are read only or updatable. Yeah. So if the fields are updatable, you can also via the REST interface you can update the ship to build to address. Yeah. That's possible. Okay. I want to make not much advertise before one, yeah. But it's just yeah, but just an idea. I want to show what's possible. So let's just have yeah. It's up to you, yeah. So okay. Also the security is also not part of the core of Postman. Yeah? Or and also if you work with the web handler for the security and also the authorization, that is also another topic. Yeah? So normally, yeah, sorry.
No, you can continue.
Normally, so we have only 2 or 3 hours to introduce it to the PASOE. So I have with it some was before Corona, so a 2 days workshop for PASOE. Yeah? You can also fill 2 days to show everything about the PASOE. I can only show you some topics and that's it. Yeah.
If you just make number there which is not existing, it would be interesting to see what kind of error you get.
Oh. Maybe. So here we get only the response that we have found missing. Yeah? That's up to you how to handle it. Yeah? So if you have a query and the query gives no results back, is this an error or not? Yeah? That's, you have to define it. Okay. I think I should not go deeper with the Postman. I think. So another tool is Swagger. Swagger do partly the same like Postman, but Swagger is more in documentation of your REST API. So we are using also Swagger. Difficult to use it. So what we have built in. So and I have here the content viewer, and here I can show you customer. So I can here show data, and here if I select the table, and then I have here an open API here, and we have generated. So if we create with PCas our entity, then we create also a Swagger file and open it's a JSON file, and here you can see all existing standard operations like the gas, or if you make a put or delete. Also, if you make invokes of methods, then you can also, for example, forget. And here, you see the parameters here. And here I can also set the customer, for example, name. Then I can set the subrole for the badge. So if I set the parameters for my GET request here, the nice thing is compared to Postman. In Postman you have to do what you have to put in. Here in the Swagger, the Swagger file is so configured that you can partly choose, for example, here a parameter for that. Yeah? So, and also here you have the parameter filter all or no conditional or whatever. And it doesn't matter what the meaning is of those parameters. And if I say execute, then you get the difficult to read, but here you get the result as also as JSON file. Yeah. Nee, das wird hier, weil das so ein eingebauter Webbrowser ist. Ne? Okay. So, I think more or less I'm ready. Yeah. So, and if you have questions now or later, then you can contact me, or Björn Hellmann he's not here, but he is responsible for the REST API, or for the backend of Postman, and he has a lot of knowledge about the PASOE ad server, more than me.